Michelle, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm just busy thinking about something. Josh, have you heard about the controversies of the cryobalintawak?
Diba, that's a topic that we have to study about.
Yeah, you're right. We were told to have an advanced research about it because we will be having an examination by the next meeting. Well, I have some link here and I'll forward it to you, okay? Have you received it?
Yeah, I already received the link.
If it's okay with you, let's watch it together.
Sure, why not?
This cry started the armed struggle for independence and changed the history of the Philippines forever. But due to the multiple accounts of when and where it happened, the identification of the exact date and location became a highly controversial issue that remains unresolved after this day. One of the most recognized events in the Philippine history, the Cry of Balintawak, also the Cry of Pugadlawan. In Tagalog, Sigaw ng Pugadlawan. The Katipunan, a secret organization led by Andres Bonifacio that aims to gain independence from the Spanish colonizer with the use of violence and arms, until it was discovered in 1986, which led to the beginning of the Philippine Revolution, or the First Cry. The term cry was referred as the first class between the Katipuneros and the civil guards. The cry was also referred as steering of cidulas, or the community task certificates, accompanied by patriotic shout, "Long live Philippines!" in resistance to Spanish government. Unlike Filipino term sigaw, the word cry doesn't mean shouting. It comes from the Spanish El Grito de Rebelión, or El Grito for short. El Grito de Rebelión, which strictly refers to a decision or call to revolt. The first cry served as a signal of confirmation for the Katipuneros' total defiance to their allegiance to Spain, marking the official beginning of the Philippine Revolution against the Spaniards. The revolt later grew in strength and spread to 8 provinces, including Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Pampanga, Tarlac, Laguna, Batangas, and Nueva Ecija, which were eventually represented by the 8 rays of the sun and the present Philippine flag.
So it is believed that the so-called cry took place in Balintawak.
But others say that it really happened in Pugadlawi.
Well, there are different versions to consider in knowing the real date and place of the cry because of the differing accounts and ambiguity of place names in these accounts. The exact date and place of the cry is disputed.
According to Guillermo Masangkay, the revolution happened on August 26, 1896 at Balintawak at the house of Apolinario Samson, the cabeza of Barno Caloocan, at about 9 o'clock in the morning. The meeting was opened with Andres Bonifacio presiding and Emilio Jacinto acting as secretary. In this meeting, it is said that they were asking the people to give a pledge that they were to revolt. Gregoria de Jesus, version of the first cry, she is the Lakambini of the Katipunan and the wife of Andres Bonifacio. She has been a participant of this event and become the keeper of the secret documents of the Katipunan in her account. The first cry happened near Caloocan on August 25, 1896. Different accounts by participants and historians have served to confuse us regarding the factual date and place of the event. An officer of the Spanish Quarter Civil, Lieutenant Olegaño Diaz, states that the cry took place in Balintawak on August 25, 1896.
Teodoro Calao, in his 1925 book, The Philippine Revolution, wrote that event took place during the last week of August 1896 at Cancon, Balintawak. Santiago Alvarez, the son of Mariano Alvarez, the leader of the Magdiwang faction in Cavite, stated in 1927 that the cry took place in Bahay Toro on August 24, 1896. Pio Valenzuela, who happened to be the eyewitness of the event and a close associate of Andres Bonifacio, declared in 1948 that it happened in Pugadlawin on August 23, 1896. Gregorio Zaidas stated in his book in 1954 that the cry happened in Balintawak on August 26, 1896. Fellow historian Teodoro Agoncillo reported in 1956 that it took place in Pugadlawin in August 23, 1896, echoing the Pio Valenzuela's statement. Accounts by Milagros Guerrero, Emmanuel Encarnacion, and Ramos Villegas claimed the event to have taken place in Tandang Sora, born in Gulod Barangay Banlat, Quezon City. The prevalent account of the cry is that Teodoro Agoncillo and Revolt of the Masses published in 1956. It was in Pugadlawin where they proceeded upon leaving Samson's place in the afternoon of the 22nd that the more than 1,000 members of the Katipunan met in the yard of Juan Ramos, son of Melchora Aquino, in the morning of August 23rd. Considerable discussion arose whether the revolt against the Spanish government should be stated on the 29th. Only one man protested, but he was overruled in his stand. Bonifacio then announced the decision and shouted,
"Sa gabi ng 29, sisimulan na natin ang revolusyon. Ilabas ninyo ang inyong mga sedula! Pagmasdan ninyo ang munting papel na umaalipin sa ating lahat. Kailangan na nating wakasan ang ilang daang taong pananakop ng Espanya. Tayo ang magtatagumpay. Dahil tayo ang mga anak ng bayan. Tayo ang nagmamay-ari sa lupang ito. Sa atin ang bayan ito. Ulitin ang mga sedula nyo! Mabuhay ang Katipunan!
Teodoro Agoncillo used his considerable influence and campaigned for a change. In the recognized site of Pugadlawin, and the date 23rd of August 1896. In 1963, President Macapagal ordered that the cry of Balintawak be called the Cry of Pugadlawin, and it be celebrated on the 23rd of August instead of 26th.
So Ella, why do you think this event becomes very controversial?
It's because the eyewitnesses have multiple accounts. That is why it became a hot issue in Philippine history, which remained unsolved after the present day.
We can peg the beginning of the revolution to the very first encounter between the Katipuneros and the Guardian Civil. Ella, what's your perspective about this matter?
In my own perspective, it's not really important when and where the first cry exactly took place. What matters the most is the essence of what Andres Bonifacio and the Katipunan have done for our country. The decision to do a revolution and change the course of our history is the most important of all. What about you?
For me, if we're going to scrutinize the date and the location, it doesn't really matter what happens most, is that we give significance or value to the contribution of our national heroes in order to begin a revolution for us to be able to achieve our Philippine independence. It is the significance of the event rather than the date and the place that makes Pugadlawin a landmark in our history. I hope we learned some important information about the controversies of the
And I also hope that we can answer right through with our examination next week.
The cry of Balintawak is an important symbol of Philippine nationalism and resistance against colonialism. It represents the courage, sacrifice, and determination of the Filipino people in their struggle for independence. It is commemorated as a national holiday in the Philippines and celebrated as a reminder of the country's rich history and the enduring people of its people.